Alright, maybe trailer loading Flicka today. So I think this is the only session I did with her on trailer loading before she went back home. And then when she loaded on the trailer home, she was perfectly fine. So she didn't have horrible issues. She was just more skeptical than anything. So I just want the trailer to be more of a positive place. So she comes up to it, she gets a click and treat. And I want to try to keep the lead rope pressure more directing than telling and pulling her over here, just kind of bringing her back to the trailer than anything else. So I'll go in it. It kind of depends on the horse. Some I'll lead in, some I'll send in. Sometimes I go to a target. It just kind of depends. So like here, she wants to leave. That's fine. I'll let her hit the end of the lead rope. I'm just kind of going to direct her back to the trailer because now she's like, I'm not super sure. There we go. So I'll click and treat when she's looking inside here. And so I have my dividers pulled back and they're wrapped up because I had just gotten 2 Mustangs. They're in the background, so that's why it looks like that. I did take them off later. Now again, I'm just going to direct her back so that she's facing the trailer. She doesn't have to be straight like she's going to get on. There, that was great. So I'm going to click that. I clicked when she went to just pick her foot up, and then she actually kind of touched it down on the trailer. So I'll click again, and then that was enough try for me. I'm going to have her back up. I'll reward her for that because sometimes they can get really sticky and they don't want to back up, or they back up too fast, or it could be all kinds of things. So I'm just going to take her for a walk. I'm going to fast forward through this and just kind of get her mind off of the trailer for a second. I give her that mental break and a little bit of a release there. And once we turned back to the trailer, she thought maybe she'd kind of leave here and not participate. So that is very telling. She has definitely had some experiences with the trailer before that she doesn't love because she doesn't want to go near it. So I want to kind of change her mind about it a little bit more. And if she were my horse, I would do a lot more work with her, but she's not. So we would just kind of do the thing that I can at the time. And then again with her, I'm mixing positive and negative reinforcement, so I would go about it differently if she were my horse, with a lot more positive reinforcement. So she's leaning in that direction. I'm going to take that. I think a lot of people forget that, especially in trailer loading, is we worry more about, okay, we have half the horse in, I want the whole horse in, and then we just focus on that. And instead we need to be focusing on like a shift in weight, a lean forward, looking inside, a step up, all those things. So again, she's decided that she'd like to leave town, and I just kind of direct her back. I don't try to put a ton of pressure on her. There, she's nice and straight again, and I'll click and reward her. So if she were here a lot and I got the chance to do multiple sessions with her, she's probably going to need a lot more of a liberty approach. So at the time, I had just gotten them, so the trailer's parked in a different spot. Now my trailer is parked to where it opens into the arena that's on the right hand side, so I can let the horses loose in there and then I can just work on that. So if they would like to leave, that's totally fine, but they stay and they like to go in the trailer. So I feel in her case, she'd feel less trapped um, if she had that option. And that's fantastic. She pretty much did that on her own. That looks really good. Like really, when she took that one step in, I'd probably just end for that session. Um, this for sure, I would be like, okay, I'm done. So I'm giving her a little bit of a jackpot here, and then instead of being like, all right, get in all the rest of the way, I'm gonna have her leave and get out. And she backed out really nice, so I'll click reward for that. So really at that point, I would love to just be like, all right, hop back in the pasture. Maybe we'll work on it again in 10 minutes, maybe in a few hours, maybe next day. It doesn't matter. But just at least taking her away at that point versus forcing her in is super important. You want to make sure that going in is not, when you go in, they're not going to get trapped. Because humans are like, oh, they're halfway in, we're almost there. And then the horse feels all this pressure and they're claustrophobic already. So then they just get more afraid and then they want to leave or bolt out or something like that. So I just let her take a quick mental break, got some more food, and then I'll bring her back up here. And she's doing quite well. I'll let her investigate. I like to let them sniff around or paw the floor if they need to. If the horse is consistently doing that over and over and over again, you're probably just rewarding that, and then I'll move on and I'll just ask for steps inside instead, because I'll reward that in the beginning or I'll allow that in the beginning, and then if they just continually do that, I'll just ask them to do something else. So that was really great. She picked up right where we left off after her little mini break and got right halfway in again. So I'm super happy with that. I'm just going to give her a little jackpot with it, which is just multiple treats over and over again, clicking and feeding while she stands in here, and then I'll take her out. Let's see if she'll just back out nice and gently, and she does. She's pretty good at this. I have my Mustangs in the back. The darker one, he likes to kind of fly out, so we're working on that. And then I have another gelding who doesn't want to come out at all, and he's too big to turn around. So we're working on that. He just gets really tense and tight, and he doesn't do well going out. And then I have another mare, and she actually turns around. She actually does it really nicely, so I'm okay with that as well. As long as they can do it softly and safely, then I'm okay with it. So she went on another little walk there. It was longer, so I didn't speed it up, so we didn't have to look at nothing for a few minutes. I just cut it out, and it was about a few 3 to 5 minutes where she just walked, and then she came back and was like, "Oh no," for whatever reason she didn't want to go back in. So that's okay. Once she left and was outside the trailer, then I brought her back. I don't want to put a bunch of pressure while she's really close to the trailer, even though she's kind of on the outside of it, because she's not gonna understand that, when she's standing here in this position versus where she's standing 2 feet over is different. So I try to let her leave as much as possible without being drug or anything before I redirect her back. Overall, though, horses can still have um, place preferences. They have them a lot, or like a magnet where they want to be or they don't want to be. And lots of times trailers are places that horses do not want to be. So um, I just want to be really careful about putting a lot of pressure on her around the trailer because we want to make it more positive and a better place to go into. So I don't love when they're running around on the outside and then resting inside. It does work, but it takes a toll on both of you because some horses, they need to be run a lot before they decide to go in. And I just don't like training them like that. I like to show them that it's okay. We'll take nice baby steps, and it's so much easier on both of them. So this video is going to be more of a mix. She's going to have pressure, but I'm not going to run her around out on the outside. So I feel like that just does more harm than good. You have horses running around, pulling around, and you're exhausted when it could have been done a lot easier. So redirecting seems to work best here, and rewarding. Redirect her attention back to the trailer and then rewarding. And she's just eating some treats off the ground. So I like to do that as well. Like when I first started with the Mustangs, I just put some pellets on the fenders, and then they could just come up and sniff the trailer and eat off of it because they just thought the outside was scary at first too. So I do the same thing here, and like she can just kind of eat off of it and make it a good place to be. I don't have to do that every time, but just sometimes, so she's kind of thinking of the trailer in another way. It's just like a big food bowl, and try to make it a little less scary. So, but I'm just gonna fast forward through that because she's just kind of eating off the ground. We don't need to see that the whole time. Okay, so she wants to leave. I'll let her hit the end of the line and then see if we can redirect her back in. And she might need a mental break too. So if I like to let them step away from the trailer after they've done well and they've thought about going in. But if you just get stuck and they're just kind of staying there and not doing much of anything, you might want to try that as well. Oh, there we go. That's very nice. You can tell like she's thinking through her options here and she'd like to go back off to the left. So it's just important to kind of pay attention to what your horse is thinking. They'll show you. You just got to be aware of it. She's looking off to her left a lot. She does live over there, so she kind of just like to go back. But I'm going to give her a nice little jackpot here once she's gotten in. And I'm not worried about her getting all the way in either. So, like I said before, just that 1 foot would have done it for me. Since I didn't have a lot of time with her, I went a little bit further, but I still didn't ask her to get all the way in because I don't care about that. I just want to just work on her confidence, work on her going forward, making the trailer more positive. And you also could do just maybe a different reward for the trailer work, maybe something your horse really likes. You could use some grain, you could use some horse treats or carrots or apples, something like that they only get when they're working on the trailer, just to help make it more positive. That could also work. I wouldn't go too crazy with the amount of those things that you feed. So just little short sessions on trailer loading, using those so you don't feed a lot, give them a stomach ache or something. But that could help as well. Just getting the horse more comfortable with it, because that's going to be a bit of counter conditioning where there's positive things that happen in certain situations. So um, just kind of try and make it a little bit better. So I'd also, to make that effective, would be I would feed her when she gets closer. So if she was not as brave, if your horse is not as brave as Flicka is here, say the trailer could be shut and in front of them and they just walk toward it from 50 feet away, I would click and reward, and then you take another 2 steps, click and reward, and your horse might have to stay 100 feet away. It kind of depends on how badly they feel about the trailer, but I would click and reward all the way to the trailer, touching the trailer while the door is shut, and then doing the same thing when the door is open. You might have to start much further back than you even thought, and as people, we get really stuck on, okay, the horse is supposed to go in, that we miss an opportunity to train and counter condition there. But that was really good, so she's going to end on that note.